Well, I just can't seem to shut up, and I promise at least to try to be less long-winded in the future. It's just that I get so much on my mind, and throughout the week, I write down epiphanies and thoughts and talking points that I really want to go over with the public. And whether anybody listens or not, I feel like it's important. I feel like it's a job I've got to do. And so here I am doing it. So I'll continue sharing a few of the thoughts I've had this past week. And this one's a note to the evildoers, whoever they may be. Resistance is futile. Good will prevail on earth. That's a message these people need to hear loud and clear, is that they can resist all they want, but the kingdom of heaven is coming to earth. God's will is going to be accomplished on earth. And Jesus spoke loudly and clearly about this fact. And you can read that in the New Testament, what he taught about the end of the age, about his blessed return, and the harvesters of the souls of men that will weed out the wicked from the righteous. And then the renewal of all things, and the resurrection of the dead. Judgment Day, basically. The great and terrible day of the Lord. A great day for those that have lived their lives hungering and thirsting for righteousness, but a terrible day for those who have not. Why I'm the most liberal and yet conservative guy that I know. Well, like I said before, I'm just trying to choose the best of both worlds. Back to Section 8 housing. I mean, I say, fine. Okay, we're going to help people that can't afford their own housing to buy housing. That's we the people, the government, right? That's the only legitimate government. So we're squandering $50 billion a year, and the problem's getting worse. So it's an abject failure. It's an utter boondoggle. And it needs to be replaced. And I've already spelled out in previous videos how this could be done. By taking a chunk of that money, and instead of exacerbating the problem, by just feeding the hole in the gas tank, so to speak, you actually spend that money to fix the problem. And I pointed out the resistance and all the special interest groups that don't want that to happen. So we've got to be very clear on why problems don't get fixed. And all the sundry groups out there that see the problems as imperative to their job security. It's that simple. And it's sick. It's twisted. But it really is simple. And it's perverted. It proves that Satan really does still run this world until Jesus comes back and takes it over. And in the meantime, you don't sit on your laurels. If you're a good, decent, upright person that hungers and thirsts for righteousness, you got to go out there and get in the fray. You got to stick your neck out there. You got to help those that can't help themselves. You've got to be your brother's keeper. You've got to remember what Jesus said, that whatever we do or fail to do for the least of these, we do or fail to do for him. It's critical to understand these things. This is why I bother to do what I do, because the option is not doing it. And to me, that's kind of hell. Not just for the future by not doing anything, not giving a crap, but for now. It's hell for me in the present if I just divorce myself from the concerns of my fellow man that may not be as weak, strong, smart, competent, whatever those reasons are, okay? That's none of my business. My job is to be everybody's friend, because that is what God's job is. And if you ask to be his servant, his slave, then he will use you. He uses me. He'll use all of us. And he uses imperfect people that are sinners. And that's what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about getting it together, working for him, healing the division, salvation, for as many as we possibly can save. That's the job of all the disciples of Christ out there. All those that prescribe to the teachings of Jesus, that read their Bibles diligently and want good to prevail in the land, that want justice and mercy, that want to be free and understand that it's not the kind of thing you can go alone. It's got to be absolute freedom, universal freedom. This is what's going to bring us true happiness. It's going to be the kind of freedom that God brings to humanity. That's what's going to make us happy, because He's the giver, the granter of true happiness. In order to feel lucky, by default, certain others must be unlucky. See, that's the problem I was talking about in a previous video about feeling lucky, how it bugs me. I don't want to be lucky, because that infers that there's other people that aren't so lucky. You understand? Being grateful is great. Just for existence, I'm grateful. For every breath I breathe, for every rose I smell, for every puppy dog I pet. I'm grateful just to have life, just to experience what I have to this point. But I tell you what, that's good gratitude. Gratitude to God, putting Him first. The first commandment, Jesus said, there's only 2 that really matter. All the other 10 will fall into place if you follow these 2. All the law and the prophets is the way He put it. Honor God above all else. Love Him above everything. And then your fellow man is next. And it's right there adjacent. Right there entangled and inextricable with serving God properly is by serving your fellow man properly. The golden rule, treating others the way you want to be treated. But feeling lucky for the things I have, when the things other people don't have, that doesn't make me feel happy. Lucky, but it falls short. All of a sudden I feel not so lucky, because I care about others feeling lucky. I want us all to feel lucky in unison. I hope I've been clear about that. We all need to ask ourselves, would I be happy, or we be miserable in a world without money? It's a very personal question that I think God puts forth to every one of us in our heart and our soul, our spirit and our mind and our conscience, is that we really need to ask ourselves that question. Okay? What is it really doing for us? And I already pointed that if you think you can't live in a world without money, then you need to ask yourself, you need to be cognizant. You need to be aware of the price you're paying for that money, because the money lovers, which isn't, you're just a regular person. You're just an average money lover, okay? You just have a normal, healthy level of money, let's say, okay? That kind of love that God understands. It's your security. We all have to use money. We need money, right, in this world. That's just being practical, pragmatic. That's just utilizing common sense. That's a no-brainer. That's axiomatic. That's duh, right? So that's the kind of money love that's rather innocent, I think, in the sight of God. But we don't want to let it pervert us. We don't want to let it, ruin our eternal salvation. We want to be ready to lay all our cards on the table. If God says no, the world that you're going to, the world of tomorrow, and if you're found worthy to inherit it, if you're found deserving to inherit it, it's going to be a world without money. So you have a small window, like I do, of opportunity to contemplate, to really ponder what a world like that will be like. How will it work? And you can do it. We can all do it. We can imagine living in a world entirely without money. It's really not beyond our ability to imagine. Believe me, it's not. I'm already there, man. I want to be there. I want to serve you because I damn well want to. That's it, man. That's it. And I say to myself, look, all those naysayers out there that say, oh no, what they teach in economics school is true. You got to keep the people hungry. You don't want to end poverty because this inspires innovation. This is what they've got. This is all they've got. And this is a lie, because just look at the fact that all the patents out there that are stifled, all this progress we could have in innovation and ingenuity because of money, because that's what all the patents are all about. Look at all the rich people that keep working. You say, well, who, everybody would stop working if everybody was rich, right? We wouldn't have innovation. It's the opposite is true. That's what these people do. They lie and gaslight, even in the colleges and universities. So yeah, you're better off being an economist that's self-taught than somebody that's Ivy League, Ivy School trained in it. Okay, your brain hasn't been muddied with and bloodied with all the nonsense they feed people. Like that one. That's absolutely ludicrous, ridiculous that they got to keep people hungry to innovate. It's the opposite is true. Sickening, but it's true. And we all need to come to face that fact that the world system is illogical and it's anti-mathematical. It's anti-science. And it's traumatic when you really realize that this is really what's going on and everything we've been taught is mostly lies. I mean, the local mainstream media, the fake stream media is good for reporting, oh, this car accident, this natural disaster, this terrorist attack. But when it comes to educating people, which really should be the main job of the media, is educate people. This is the cutting edge education. It's through information, accurate, contemporary information is true education. Okay, and this is the media has a responsibility to do that. And if they're not, if it's just about profits, and they're beholden to their sponsors like the vaccine companies, the drug companies, or whoever is paying their wages, paying their salary, okay? And we've got a big problem, and we do have a big problem. We do have a big problem getting accurate education, accurate information, accurate news. This is why I go to InfoWars and recommend everybody does. That's it. And it takes a lot of courage because there's a lot of opposition. There's a lot of resistance to the truth. That's the way it is. But not much we can do about it. You got to jump in the fray. And if people are going to hate you and if they're going to want you dead, that's the price you pay for being God's servant. But that's the highest calling. And the rewards you get, you don't just have to wait for a reward, you get them today. You sleep better. You're happier, more well-adjusted. You're nicer to people. You have more humility. You have more kindness. You listen to people better. You're able to communicate better. So that's right here and now. It's not a reward you wait for, when you're going to get it in heaven or something. No, you get it now for speaking the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And deciding it's my choice to be a friend to everybody because Jesus gave me permission. He said to love my enemy. So that means, look, I can love everybody because it's easy to love these people that already love me. That's no credit to me. But, that's really something when you love somebody that hates you for no cause, for no reason. That's beautiful. That's powerful. You're entertaining angels. And it's like Daniel points out. He says, those that bring many to righteousness, often you don't even know it. That's what I hope to do. I hope to just reach a little bit of people that say, aha, now I get where my thinking was askew. And that's because I've been trained for my thinking to be askew. This thick veil of darkness, of confusion and ignorance has been lifted down over the eyes of humanity as a race, as a civilization, as a species. And it's through that by the hand of Satan. And these money lovers, these are the people that are in charge, and by gosh, they want to stay in charge, but they can't. Not in perpetuity, not forever. This buck's going to stop. It's going to stop. At the hand of God working through people, the buck's going to stop. So we need to ask ourselves, am I ready for that world without money? And if not, why not? You say, like I said, if you think it's just so innocent that we have money, it's just to facilitate exchange, it's just how you spend the money and all this stuff. I've heard it all. Then you got to ask yourself about the price. You say, is it really worth the price that these money lovers become in charge and they rule the world? They create the policies we all have to live under because they have the copyright to this vast power, this unlimited power that can buy them all the goods and services in perpetuity and enslave the masses. Just because your numbers are going up, because you're part of the status quo, because you're part of the establishment, you're okay with that? And you're willing to face God with your belief system, with your philosophy? You're willing to stand before God and justify it? Well, he's not stupid. He's not going to buy a lot of psychobabble, not coming from me or you or anybody else out there. Let's just remember that. I am not anti-wealth, but I'm anti-selective wealth. That's right. I'm pro-universal wealth. I'm pro-freedom. Not for some, but for everybody. I'm a good American. I'm a constitutionalist. I'm just trying to be a halfway decent disciple of Christ. That's it. That's all I do. And try to convince other people that's what they want to do. And we're very powerful. You are made in the image and likeness of God. You're like a little God. It's just that our thinking is so screwed up, not just from the fall of man, the original sin, knowledge of good and evil, but from these a-holes at the top that are just manipulating us 6 ways to Sunday and then some. Up one side, down the other, to the nth degree. Everything. The media, the colleges, the universities, these are the way they influence us. Just the way we think about economics. People don't understand economics. Everybody accepts inflation like, oh, well, the price of this went up, the price of that.